Hello, everyone. This is Lady Treasure. Welcome to Penny Lane and this series that I'm on, Raising Happy Children. And this is episode 3. But I want to carry over some conversation from Real Talk 2 because I didn't get to finish the thought the way I really wanted to, and I don't want to leave this out. When I had to experience it, and I'm sure many of you as well, handing your children over to babysitters, family members, doesn't matter. There's always some sort of feeling, we feel some kind of way. And though they're family or they're a trusted babysitter, nanny, or daycare, what have you, they're still not us. And they're not the mom or the dad. That child doesn't belong to them. So we always feel either some guilt or somehow we're letting the child down or what have you. But to instill confidence in a child, which was our real talk from episode 2, you just have to get to a place of confidence yourself and help your child through the changes that just come with growing up, even from 2 years old and up. And it doesn't have to be hard. I was talking as I was closing out that, and time cut it off. I had to edit the end of it. But I was talking about if you can be with your children, do that. If they're, all the way up to first grade or kindergarten, half day or full day, that's ideal, but everybody cannot. And since the reality is that they have to go to preschool, we get a chance to make the best of this and show them that other adults can be trusted as well. That's what you're doing. You're moving them forward. And one more thing I'm going to say on this, and then I'll move into today's subject, which is keeping them safe. I'm going to try to segue these together. I remember working with a mom who was breastfeeding, and she just had a very difficult time stopping. She didn't feel like she needed to. It didn't matter how other people felt. She just felt like if my child still has the need to nurse, I'm going to nurse. And the child was 5. Now, I'm not judging that because really family things are family things. It's not my business. You want your 5-year-old to be able to undo your top public or private spaces and feel the comfort of nursing from mom, that is 100% your business. But while I'm on my little channel and I have my little opportunity to try to share some wisdom, I want to tell you what I told that mom because I was invited to share some thoughts at the time. I said I understood the comfort, I understood the naturalness that she felt. But I wanted her to just think about a word called regression. And that there are certain things that come with age, that are coming of age moments. They are transitional moments, and they're important for, their thresholds that children should get across. Now, I don't believe in forcing or being mean about it or doing something traumatic to a child just because you have to say, you're just too old for that, and just throw them across the room and all these harsh, no, that's not necessary. But a good conversation about you can still feel warm, and the warmth of mom holding you just by laying on my chest. You don't have, there's not much milk there now. You have a lot of other things that you're doing with your day. You're eating solid food, and this is for the baby times, and this time has changed. You have to help them walk through that. That's a confidence moment as well. So transitions are important to the coming of age for that time period. For your child to get to that next, they call them landmarks and all of that, but benchmarks and things. I'm not really that kind of a person. Every child gets to a place at the time they get there, but parents really do make a difference. And I want to encourage you to instill confidence in your child by sharing your own confidence, and then make sure they know that it's actually a good thing what is getting ready to happen next, that they're stepping up, and why other children that they have noticed are not doing that. In the same story of instilling confidence, I helped whole different time period, whole different state, whole different parent and child, an adoptive mother. Oh, she loved these children. She was really a good mother, honest. She had a little boy named Austin. He's 5 years old. She was a Caucasian woman. He's an African-American child. She adopted 5 of them. And it was, her heart, you talking about devoted. Well, I'm not trying to tell you, this woman was seriously devoted. Well, I was working at a daycare in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I had the need. I didn't often go to anyone's house, but she had older girls, and she didn't know how to do hair. And she asked me, they're Black kids, and she's Caucasian. She just wanted help with that. And would I mind coming by the house and just helping her with it, because it was a big struggle. And I said, absolutely. And I went, and me and the girls laughed, because, they're getting older, and their white mom didn't know how to get, this kind of natural hair functioning, right? So that was all light and well, but Austin was, of course, home, and she came out there jokingly and said to me, well, he's back there in the room, but he doesn't want you to see what he's doing. And I said, well, that's okay. I'm at his house. I'm very much one of those people who respect children and give them the space as little humans. And I tell them that if you don't feel like doing that right now, that's okay. Maybe you could do it later, but the rest of us have to go over here and do this stuff. I do a lot of stuff like that. So I was like, that's okay. Tell him I'm just visiting. I'll wait till he comes out and says hello. Well, finally, she let the cat out the bag. The reason why he didn't want to come out is because he didn't want me to see him. He's 5 and a big chocolate brown boy that was actually big for 5. And he had a bottle. And when I say a bottle, I mean a baby bottle. And it was very serious. Now, check this situation out. Why is he ashamed, which is what it turned out to be, concerned or anything about Miss Treasure seeing his bottle if mom is good with it and he has to have it? He pitches a 100% fit. She can't leave with a babysitter. She can't leave town. She can't do anything unless they understand that he has to have a diaper on. Not pull up. I'm talking about he had to have on a pamper, and he had to have a baby bottle of milk. He was bothered by it, because I'm the teacher at his daycare. And he was a big boy at daycare because he was early 5, and I did old enough to go to early kindergarten. But the oldest you are in daycare. He was bothered by it because it wasn't natural, and he knew it. Somewhere in there, he knew it. She had been trying to get him away from it herself, and she struggled so badly. So now that I was there, they trusted me, both of them, and he was just like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want you to see it, whatever. He made a big deal. I didn't, and I let him be as the child he is, and left him alone, and he went back into his space, and she wanted the conversation. I always say unsolicited advice is seldom heeded if people don't ask most of the time. Yeah, I'm really trying to hear you. But she asked. So I said, we talked about regressive behavior and that there were transitions he was going through because we experienced them at school. He's a real big boy. He's real kind of brute. Like, he's not even mean. He's just big. And the little 4-year-olds around him in the 4 and 5 room, he's like this, and he's a very muscular little boy. And he was doing all the big kid stuff, and I would call him a big kid because that's the age group. And so he could feel the difference, but when he went home, he just couldn't do without the comfort of the bottle. And I said to her, it's a transition. It's a regressive behavior if you allow him on purpose to do things that went with a whole nother age. It's not good for his mouth, and she had already been told that, I believe, by a dentist. The bridge in his mouth, he is not of suckling age. He is of drinking age. His mouth is supposed to work a whole nother way. Okay, so she allowed me to share. I don't know when she ever took that bottle from him, but she completely understood when I left her house that day, since she asked for it, what it meant to let a 5-year-old still drink a bottle just like that mother who had a 5-year-old still nursing from her almost flat breast, that it was comfort and mom allowing it and regressive, and you have to help them transition. Confidence goes a long way in helping with that. Now, I have to finish this subject because now it's a true part two to episode 2. So that's the way I'm going to treat it, and I'll edit it, and this will all be worked out. So I'll just say a few more things on this, and then I'll record lesson 3 that is about keeping them safe. If you struggle with it, read, study, research. Talk to people like me. Talk to people with more experience than me. Just keep doing the best you can to come out of that fear and out of that rut, thinking that you're damaging or hurting their feelings or doing something bad to them by taking something away like a blankie that stays dirty forever. I've got more stories because you can't even take it away from them long enough to wash it. And I'm serious. This is real stuff. And I don't mock people for this. I just understand that as parents, you go to work all day, you're so tired. The last story I'm telling in the same subject of building confidence in your children. And this helps them with transitions and helps them avoid regressive behavior. A mom in Marquette, Michigan, at a daycare there where I was working said, help me. I can't, my whole morning is ruined. Bedtime is ruined. Travel is ruined. I cannot handle her addiction to just hold on to this blanket. If she's asleep and she really won't be awakened and her hand isn't on it, I can wash it. But if she is in any way clutching, she will cry for hours. And she will go, oh, and it's just terrible. And I feel like a terrible mom if I take it and allow her to cry. We did a parent-teacher meeting and plan. The daycare owner, director, the daycare teacher, and at the time program director, so I was one training other teachers, and I still was in a group teaching as well, and the mom. And I said, you have to tell me that you're really going to work with this. We're going to do this by steps, and we'll both do the same thing at the same time. That's all. I'll do this here at daycare because she was in my class, and you do the same thing at home, but we have to be consistent. She said, I'll do it. She did keep her word. She really did. And I'm talking about this is a pregnant, tearful, hardworking mom. She could not take another week even with this child's insistence on keeping this blankie half wet hanging out of her mouth. It was just awful. So we did things together, she and I, of course, eye to eye with my little friend. And I won't say her name, but we got to be very close. I said, okay, it's time to go and do this. And so your blankie, you know the rules here at daycare. You get it back when you leave, but it has to go in the shop. She gave me a little hard time. She didn't do what she did with mom at all because I've never had the relationship with her that her and the blanket and I are a struggle. She met me, and you could not have a blankie, teddy bear, or private home toy in your daycare experience. You were allowed to come away from home with it if mom and dad insisted, but it stayed in your cubby and you could retrieve it when it was time to go home. But we couldn't do that. The children would be sharing each other's germs. They would be stealing each other's stuff. They would break each other's precious things. It was just too many rules why you just can't have it. So because we absolutely said no, she didn't cry all day. She did not. She just let it go reluctantly, whimpering, keeping her eye on her cubby. At first, she'd go over there and want to touch it, and I'd say, "Look, it's fine. I made sure it's folded. Look how neat it is." Redirection. You don't. One thing for sure with children that are struggling with letting go of something comfort-wise, because they lack the confidence to move to the next level, and you don't want them to have regressive behaviors. You can't be dramatic about it. Don't be dramatic. I said that I'm going to throw that thing away if you grab it one more time. I said it's going in the wash. This don't make no sense. You're too old for that. Those are all the wrong things to do. Reasoning with, explaining why, these are important. There's nothing wrong with letting them cognitively understand why they need to let go. So you shouldn't treat them in a way like they don't have a right to understand. But after you explain it, then you have to enforce it. So I would repeat without being angry. I'm her teacher at daycare. I can't show anger at all. I would just tell her it's safe there, away from other friends taking it or touching it, and you'll take it right away when you go home. And since her cubby is open, and you can see it right here from your table, right there from the sandbox. And she just got to accepting it. Slowly but surely, I kept doing things with her. Her mother did things. All the mom could manage was taking it away for a period of time and giving it back. And since she insisted, the child just stopped. She couldn't chase her mom around the house all day and force her mom to do it. So mom just had to be tough. Nope, it's just there. 15 more minutes, 15 more. She just did time periods. And finally, she had less and less time with the blanket at home and no time with the blanket in school, except for when it was time daycare to go home. Do you know what happened? The natural thing that happens as a child matures. She was less and less dependent on it, less and less in need of it, and remembered it less and less, until the day came while I was still her teacher, where she just couldn't be bothered anymore. She didn't even ask, and her mother didn't bring it to daycare anymore. I got lots of stories like that. Okay, so I've spent enough time talking about this, I think, for now, and we'll be talking about happy children for quite a bit of time now, so I may come back to it if I need to. But I want to move on to episode 3, and so I'm going to close this one out. So far, I'm only on number 2, and it already has a part 2, but I thank you for being with me here at Penny Lane while I do a marathon, real talk, conversational vibe with you on raising happy children. Thank you for being with me at Penny Lane. I'll see you in the next one.